Magnificent venue, isn't it? Just the 2,000-mile trip from southwest London for Frank Lampard's side tonight as Chelsea are in Russia to face FC Krasnodar. Good evening and welcome. Slightly earlier start than usual for this UEFA Champions League Group E clash, but I am joined by Pat Nevin, Abby McCarthy, Savage Dan, and live from the Krasnodar Stadium is, of course, the brilliant Lee Parker. Lee, we'll come straight to you, mate, because I believe you've got some team news for us.
I have indeed. Let's confirm Frank Lampard's starting 11, shall we? Expect them to line up in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Edouard Mendy in goal, captain Cesar Azpilicueta at right back, alongside Tony Rudiger making his first start of the season, Kurt Zouma and Ben Chilwell. Midfield two of Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic. Our first starts for Chelsea for Hakim Ziyech, Kai Havertz as the 10, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Timo Werner up top. Everybody else on the bench. So a very exciting looking Chelsea 11. Wouldn't you agree, guys?
Massively. Lee, what's the zip been like the last... I've seen your interview with Ben Chilwell on the fifth stand, which I believe we'll have a little look at a little bit later on. What's the zip like being in training in the last couple of days?
Really good, really good. That was one of my first questions to Ben, actually, because we were watching training out here behind me on the pitch yesterday evening, very late after we flew in from London. And the players were in, it's a bit of a cliche, but in high spirits. Lots of practical jokes. I mean, Pat will tell you about the importance of training sessions that have a real zip, as you said, Joe. And they were in fantastic spirits. They seem to be really enjoying it. It's a great stadium, great city. The pitch looks to be magnificent. Hopefully that will lend itself to what should be a good game here tonight.
Let's hope so. Pat, I want to get your reaction then on the team. Then you've just heard it from Lee. Hakim Ziyech, I suppose, is the big one, making his first Chelsea start tonight. And we mentioned, maybe alluded to it on Saturday, that we'd hope to get some minutes tonight, and this is a good opportunity.
It is absolutely the case. I'd also add Hudson-Odoi in that as well. I think just big win for him as well. I expected sort of young legs to get opportunities tonight. So certainly Callum's a big win for me. But Ziyech, yeah, he wants to get a chance to create some opportunities for the team. Certainly against a team like Krasnodar, there should be opportunities to get forward, getting the ball in the last third and show what he's capable of. So this is a really good time to have your first start, because I think this is the sort of game where, as long as Krasnodar do a little bit of attacking, and I'm not sure if they will do a hell of a lot, because I've just had a look at their team and they're set up to be quite defensive, but he will get plenty of ball, and let's just see how he uses it. Let's not be too hard on him too early, though. Just his first start.
Abby, like Pat was saying there, that the front four and the two that I suppose stand out are Callum Hudson-Odoi and Hakim Ziyech. We've spoken at length already this season about the amount of attacking players that get you on the edge of your seat for Chelsea. So seeing that front four tonight, that's got us all quite hyped, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it could be a lively game, and we're hoping for lots of goals. Far too many draws recently. I'm hoping for a couple of corkers tonight. But yeah, Ziyech is particularly exciting. For me, it's all about that wand of a left foot that he's got, and he's just such a phenomenal player. And I feel like we haven't really got to see his full capability yet. So yeah, it feels super exciting tonight.
Dan, let's not overlook the fact that, we've got a front four that we want to do something special tonight. But the last two games, we've been superb defensively, keeping 2 clean sheets. 2, I suppose, major changes in that back 7, I suppose, if you want to call it that, including the 2 in midfield, is Jorginho and Kovacic lined up instead of Kanté in there. And obviously no Thiago Silva. So Antonio Rudiger coming in for his first start. Big night for all of those. Yeah,
definitely not a bad replacement, though, if you're dropping out Thiago Silva to bring in Antonio Rudiger. I feel like Rudiger's been here before. It's weird because he's still played a lot of international football, even though he hasn't really broken into the starting lineup for us this season just yet. But I feel like both of those replacements will come in and do just what's needed. I expect it to be probably a game that is the one that you want to play in. It is still a bit of a must-win game. We've got 1 point against Sevilla. It's an important game, I know it's against a team that's not the best team in the world, but still an important game.
But I'll tell you what, the stadium stands up against anything, doesn't it, Lee? Looking behind you, mate, it looks like something you'd build in a video game. It looks unbelievable.
It is absolutely stunning. And I tell you, it was strange. When we drove up to it for the first time yesterday, it did remind us of the stadium in Baku a couple of years ago, of course, for the Europa League final. It's 4 years old. I was surprised when we were told that the capacity is actually just over 30,000. It feels a lot bigger, a lot more grandiose. So with that in mind, they're allowed to have 30% capacity here today. So for the first time in what feels like an awful long time, we're going to have fans in attendance. So 10,000 passionate Krasnodar supporters will be here live and in person.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a perfect setting for a big European night. Lee, thank you so much, man. I'm going to let you go off and get set for the game.
My pleasure.
Enjoy it, and we will hopefully speak to you in a bit. Thank you very much, mate. As always,
Thanks,
of course,
Joe.
we are
Have a good one.
playing Play Predictor tonight, which you can get involved with. Some amazing prizes up for grabs. And we play this game every single Chelsea match day, including Champions League games. So if you head to the Play Predictor section on the Fifth Stand app and predict how you think the game will pan out, all the prizes, terms and conditions, rules, everything you need is on the Fifth Stand. And it closes an hour before kickoff, so you've got literally a couple of minutes to get that in. So if you go and hurry up now, you'll get your vote in and get your predictions in ahead of the game. So here's what we have gone for tonight's match. Say tonight, it's kind of this evening, isn't it? It's a very strange time, but we're all feeling quite confident. Pat's gone for a 1-0 win tonight. Me and Dan have both gone for 3-0 Chelsea wins, and Abby has gone for a 2-0 Chelsea win. So Abby, I'll start with you then. 2-0 tonight, another clean sheet you're hoping for?
Yeah, the fact that we've had 2 back-to-back clean sheets, I'm hopeful for another one tonight. And I'm hopeful that we're going to have the upper hand in this match as well. You know, Krasnodar not got a lot of experience in Europe, and surely we're the better team, especially now we know our attacking four. Like, we're going to score some goals, and it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a lively one, I think.
Well, in the pre-match, when Dan started saying, you know, that this is their first season in the Champions League, you know, everything like that, I was thinking, oh no. But now I've seen that front four, I reckon, Pat, you're on the back foot, 1-0. Surely now seeing that lineup, you wish you'd gone a bit more extravagant.
I'd be delighted to be proved wrong. Don't worry about that. I'm really happy to be proved wrong.
It's true.
The thing is, there's a lot of games on just now. We're having to fill things in. This is a big, long, old trip as well. 2,000 miles there, as you say, 2,000 miles back. So, you know, you don't always get the liveliest of games. You sometimes get a game that, you know, you just have to grind it out. Now, my concern is we've had a few grinders recently, haven't we? Grinding games out. And this might be another one of them. I really hope it's not. If we score an early goal, all bets off. Absolutely all bets off. And I think we can relax. And I think you'll see the best of Callum. You'll see the best of Kai Havertz. And you'll see everybody going forward. Because there's a lot of players in that team that want to get a game in the first team every week. I mean, Kovacic, he's not playing every week. But he's desperate and thinking, wait a minute, I was brilliant last season. Why am I not playing? So he'll be out there making sure he can get back in. And even someone as obvious as Aspie, well, he's got a battle on for his place. I mean, he'll want to go out and he'll be in there. And I remember last season, it seems odd saying it, that was his best ever scoring season for us. It was brilliant last season, and he was creating goals as well. I think he'll be up there trying to create again today. And so the guys that come in, they'll want to make sure that A, the manager spots them, and B, he keeps them in the team.
Great point. Dan, you've gone 3-0. Still feeling confident?
Yep, more than ever. I feel like I probably could have got away with putting 4 or 5 on there. I do feel like there's goals in this. I do. I just feel like there's goals in there. It's a beautiful stadium. It's a beautiful pitch. It's a nice big pitch. Fans in the stadium as well. I know it's not our fans, but I feel like it's fans nonetheless. You know, we've been playing behind closed doors for a long time, and I feel like the boys will be up for this. You know, it feels like there's a good energy, and yeah, I'm expecting a 3-0 win. But I'll take anything.
I think we're all in that boat, aren't we? Any time there's a game on, you're all before kickoff. You're like 3-0. I'll take a 3-0. I'll take a 1-0. We'll all take a 1-0 at full time. So I've not got your first goal scorer. So Dan, who you saying first goal scorer tonight?
I'm gonna go Timo Werner. I feel like Champions League, a night like this is built for him to just do the number 9 role prolifically.
I think that's going to be it. Yeah, I think that's going to be a fairly consistent one on the Fifth Stand Up. If you've got yours in and you've got Timo Werner, I imagine, Abby, they're not going to be alone. Well, they're definitely not, because Savage Dan's already there. Who are you saying?
I'm going to back down and say Werner. I think that he could definitely score tonight.
Pat?
Oh, Kai. Definitely Kai Havertz. He's the kind of guy who'll keep on going at the right places. He started scoring for us. He is a top quality finisher. He's going to score a hell of a lot of goals. Maybe not quite as much as Werner over the piece. However, he will score goals. I'm definitely on Kai.
I'm going Ziyech Worldy. Absolutely happening. Well, 2 clean sheets in a row for Frank Lampard's side, and we heard from him a little bit earlier, but Lee Parker grabbed a word with one of the defenders responsible for those 2 shutouts. After training in Krasnodar yesterday, this is Ben Chilwell.
Ben, first of all, welcome to Russia. What are your first impressions of a pretty impressive stadium?
Yeah, no, great stadium. obviously, when you come and train on a pitch the day before a game and see a stadium like this, gets the excitement, a lot higher, and everyone's really looking forward to the game tomorrow now.
It's a long trip. Have you dealt with the time difference and the long journey out here?
I slept the whole flight. I think the majority of the boys probably slept a lot of the flight. So yeah, no, everyone was excited when we got here. A lovely city, and just looking forward to the game.
And people looked excited out on the pitch. The spirits look to be really good with the group. How are the boys?
Yeah, really good. I think that's probably one of the most lively, high-spirited sessions we've had this season. Everyone was just very excited and looking forward to hopefully a good Champions League match.
Hopefully so. And looking at recent results, back-to-back clean sheets, how important is that as you're looking to build and improve this year?
Yeah, because like I said a few weeks ago in an interview, we've been questioned defensively this season, so back-to-back clean sheets is obviously a very good sign and a solid foundation to build. And with the quality we've got going forward, we know that's not a problem. So the positive for us is that defensively we're looking solid.
You hit the ground running. You enjoying your football at the moment?
Yeah, loving it. I think I said to you actually before, the day that I signed, that the style of football suits me perfectly. And I knew that before I came here, and I think the first few games I played have obviously emphasised that the quality of football the style of football suits the way that I play, and hopefully I can continue to have good games for the club.
Tell us about conversations you've had with Frank Lampard. What has the manager said about your role in this team?
Obviously, defensively have to be solid because that's one of the reasons I've come in, hopefully to try and help the defence. But going forward, obviously show what I can do going forward, and the full-backs for this club are obviously a massive part of the way the gaffer wants to play, getting forward, putting crosses into the box. So that side of the game is obviously very important for myself, and just to make sure that my fitness levels are good so that I can make sure that I get up and down the pitch for the full game.
Finally, focusing on the game here in Russia, how weird is it going to be for you guys playing in front of fans for the first time in what feels like an eternity? Yeah,
I was actually chatting to Timo before today, and we were saying, usually if you were coming to a stadium and playing in front of 10,000, it would be one of the more dull occasions of the season if it was a third full stadium. But we're all absolutely over the moon to be playing in front of fans tomorrow. Obviously the atmosphere should be great, and it should, even though they're not our fans, it should give us that motivation to want to do well and win the match.
Atmosphere should be great. The pitch looks great. What would it mean to you guys to come out here to Russia and go away with all 3 points?
Yeah, I think with the foundation that we built against Sevilla, with the clean sheet, and we would have liked to have won the game, but not to lose the game is very important as well. So to come here and hopefully if we get the 3 points, it will put us in a good position going forward in the group.
Wish you luck.
Thank you very much.
It feels like a big night, doesn't it? It does feel like a big Champions League night. Even with this early kickoff, the stadium is set. It's looking beautiful. We've heard Frank Lampard's 11 for tonight. So excited. I know we're all feeling confident. I've just heard our predictions. Dan, you're feeling the most confident, but you always look chill, mate. Like you're the only person that I've ever seen. I've seen rattled, but not in that way. You always seem chill by it, mate. So confident tonight. You've been confident all week.
Yeah, I feel like it's a game that on paper, and I know paper doesn't always do what it's supposed to do, but on paper it's a game where you look at it and that's where you should get your 3 points. I wasn't upset with the point at Sevilla, but I looked at this one as the one that we have to win and should win. Anything other than that, it would be an upset.
It's one of those, isn't it, Abby, that I suppose you look at the start of the season, and when you're drawn in Group E and you've got Rennes, you've got Sevilla, you've got Krasnodar, the away games are going to be tough because they're always tough in the Champions League, but also you look at it and you go, favourably, Chelsea will fancy their chances.
Yeah, hopefully. I really do think we can get a win tonight. A lot of people on the app as well are just so desperate. There is this feeling in the air, isn't there, that it's a must win game. So Davidson G saying that, Bennett, Putu, Abby A all saying a must win as well. Itu Maleng saying hopefully this is the game where we're going to start picking up wins and really get our confidence up as well going into the weekend. Steve Z has got a lot of confidence. He says the goals are going to pour in tonight. He's saying 2 hat-tricks. I mean, I rate the level of confidence. Gary C, a bit more level-headed though. He said, no game is easy, but you'd expect us to beat this team. As Dan said, on paper, we've got this. And I'm really hopeful that we do.
Well, let's start then with hot topic 1 for tonight, which is rotation. And Pat, obviously, we've heard the lineup. I suppose the big headlines are Antonio Rudiger starting his first game for Chelsea this season, Callum Hudson-Odoi being given an opportunity, and obviously Hakim Ziyech as well. Who do you think out of those 3 needs the biggest game?
I mean, they all want it, but Ziyech is desperate to show. See, if you're a new player at a club and you've been bought for a lot of money, you're desperate to just pay some of it off. You really want to get in there, show the fans, show the manager, show the ownership, show everyone that you're kind of worth it, and when you've been injured a little bit and you've been a little bit behind everyone else, it's actually not a pleasant feeling. So you want to get in there quick. First goal you score is an amazing feeling. It's just the best feeling. It's just this massive big weight disappears off your shoulders. With him, I think he'll feel the same way about his first one that he creates as well. So I think for Ziyech, it's really is gigantic that this is the kind of game, because they will be a team that he's capable of scoring against or creating against. It's a great one for Frank to bring him in. I'm really happy that Frank started on this one, because if he gets the right start here and he gets that almost that takeoff, you're going to love it. It's going to help him for the next 5, 6, 7 games going onwards.
Dan, as well, Callum Hudson-Odoi on the other flank. It's important for him today because we've seen how good he can be. And you feel with Callum that if he has one game that goes his way, he gets a little bit of luck in terms of, you see him beat players and then the ball sort of bobbles off of someone's leg that stuck it out that's not going to get there. If he gets a little bit of luck tonight and things go his way, this could be the sort of the starting block for a consistent run of form, which we know he's all capable of.
100%. I feel like because he's starting from the left, he does like to cut inside and, maybe go towards goal. He might even be more direct and go for goal a few more times himself. But I like Callum when he is aggressive, brave, and just decides that he's going to run you. And as a fullback, it would be a nightmare. Someone like him who's doing step overs and dropping the shoulders left, right. And what you want him to do is to slow down and pass it to someone else who's less capable. But what I like to see from Callum is just him size you up and say, let's have a race, and I'm going to beat you. I feel like that is when you get the best Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Absolutely. And Abby, tonight, obviously, Frank Lampard has said that Thiago Silva hasn't made the trip to protect him because obviously we've got quite a lot of games coming up in the next sort of 10, 14 days. So big opportunity for Tony Rudiger tonight. We know how much of a character he is. We know how important he's been in games for us in the past. But it's his first appearance for Chelsea of the season tonight. And it's a big opportunity for him as well.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity for him to sort of prove himself all over again, isn't it? Because he hasn't played in a while. So I think he's going to be eager to please tonight and hopefully put in a really good performance.
Pat, like Abby alluded to earlier, we massively want the front four to click. We want things to go. And like Abby said earlier, tonight could be seen as a must-win game. That is our hot topic too for tonight, being a must-win game. 0-0 for the first fixture. It's not a bad result at all. Sevilla are a very good side, but tonight it does put a little bit extra importance on that to get the result.
I think there's no doubt about it. We want to win it. We expect to win it tonight. Must win is pushing it a bit, but it's going to make life really difficult if we don't win this game. I've got real belief that we will do. One of the things you were talking, just to go back to Rudiger for a second there, you're talking about Tony and the fact that he's played those 5 games. Unlike someone else who hasn't played early games in the season for the team, they come in a bit rusty. It won't happen with him. He's played the international games. So he's got that real help. And he's another one that wants to come in and make sure that he's absolutely up for it. I think everyone's looking at Thiago Silva and thinking, I want to play beside him. He's that good. I want to play beside him. And if you're Rudiger thinking, wait a minute, one of the best players of his generation in my position, give me a chance, please. So he will be really, really big on this as well. So yeah, it's a must stop the opposition one. Against Berg, I knew he would play tonight. Didn't play a couple of games there for him, but I knew he would play tonight. He's been saving himself for this one. But it's a game that I think we will score goals. If we kept a clean sheet, I think Frank would be as happy with that as anything. Because 3 in a row for that would be amazing.
Dan, it's a must-win from the perspective of Chelsea are favoured to go through in this group, and Krasnodar it's their first, they're in their infancy in terms of Champions League football. It's their first ever home group game, so you fancy Chelsea in that aspect. But also because Sevilla and Rennes don't play until 8 o'clock tonight, it's a big opportunity to lay a marker down, isn't it?
100%. 4 points from 2 games. Going into Sevilla's game against Rennes is exactly one. You want to put the pressure on Sevilla. They're a good team. You'd expect Chelsea and Sevilla to be 1 and 2. Which way around is up to performances. But when you look at it, that's what you'd expect. But these games are funny, and the Champions League is a funny competition. And if you're not up for it and you're not at the races, it finds you out. So I feel like it's important to get a win, a good win, that kind of propels us into some kind of good forward momentum.
And Abby as well, it's important to kind of look at an overview in the fact that in a week we've played Sevilla, Manchester United, and obviously an away trip to Russia tonight for Krasnodar. If you come out of that unbeaten, potentially keeping 3 clean sheets, if you'd have offered that to every Chelsea fan last Monday evening, 24 hours before the Sevilla game, everyone would have gone, yeah, absolutely, we'll take that. We'll take that 100%.
Yeah, exactly. We would have definitely taken that, and we'd have been grinning ear to ear. So yeah, let's hope for another clean sheet again tonight and a win and lots of goals, all of it, please.
Yeah, I mean, you're asking a lot, Abby, but I agree. I think we're all massively fancy that one. Pat, just another other thing, because you mentioned about Tony Rudiger and wanting to play alongside Kurt Zouma. Is that also I suppose that the question for any of the front four? Because, they see each other in training. Everyone's got this kind of perspective in their mind looking at, Ziyech coming in, Havertz coming in, Werner coming in, Pulisic as well. They're all wanting to play with each other. So when they do get an opportunity to play tonight, they've got to nail down that spot and then hope the other 3 do that as well, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, if you've got a negative outlook, say you're Tammy, and you're thinking, I'm not going to get a game here. You won't. You need to be ultra positive about it. Now, Tammy will get his opportunities eventually, but everyone's exactly the same. Ziyech is going to come in there, get his opportunity tonight. Callum's going to come in, get the opportunity tonight. But, excuse me, but everyone's going to have to really pick it up and be at their best, because this is what every manager wants. Every player to be going, what's he doing? He's got behind me, waiting for me. He's looking at my position every single day. And although it's never totally comfortable as a player, and I'll be honest with you, every player would rather comfortably think, I'm playing this week. I am okay, I'm playing. But it's much, much better for the team, much better for the manager, much better for the club. Everyone's got that wee doubt in their shoulder, but they're always thinking, I need to be my very, very...
Oh, we seem to have lost Pat for a second, but it's okay, because he did mention Frank Lampard then, and we need to hear from Frank Lampard. We'll be back in around 20 minutes' time, so we hear from Frank, and also Kurt Zouma, who spoke yesterday at the pre-match press conference. See you in a bit.
Right, there were suggestions you'd have discussions with Antonio Rudiger. Is that the case? Were they positive, and did he play a part to blame?
I've had discussions. I saw the story. I've had discussions with Antonio and all the players as regularly as I can do. So I've always had a positive relationship with him. Everything I do for the club and selections and for the team, and every week at the minute with the squad we have, sometimes you have to have players out of the squad, and it's always big news for everybody. But we've a very positive relationship. He's in the squad, so very much in contention to play.
Matt Law.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Matt.
I was wondering if you were aware of this stat that was going around last week, that you're only the second English manager to manage in 2 Champions League campaigns behind Bobby Robson. I mean, a lot of us were quite surprised by it and ended up going through names. I mean, I just wondered how you felt about it and how you feel about the sort of, it's not your fault, but the responsibility almost that you're carrying on your shoulders for English managers, being a manager of a top 6 club in the Premier League and also in the Champions League.
Yeah, I don't feel like the responsibility of the English Managers Union or whatever you want to call it, but I see what you mean. I was surprised by the stat myself when I was told it last week. Actually, the great Bobby Robson to be the only English man that has done it. There was quite a long time when I used to hear towards the end of my career about how English managers get jobs in the Premier League and as a merry-go-round and all this sort of thing. But I actually think that it's slightly different. I think sometimes now we're seeing English managers showing their qualities in the game throughout the Premier League, throughout the Championship, throughout the leagues. And hopefully there are more opportunities for them, because I think sometimes with the brilliant invasion of great quality coaches and players into the Premier League, sometimes I think we get our eyes go to that, and it becomes very new and trendy and rightly so, with managers that achieve so much. But also sometimes I think we can hopefully have managers at home that can do the jobs as well. So I'm not thinking myself anywhere near the sort of standard bearer or the front man for it, because there are great managers and young coaches out there. But all I do is try and do the job as well as I can.
I get that you don't feel like you're the standard bearer, but do you ever feel that you're judged differently with the opinions that come because you're English?
I think possibly yes. I think when I got this job, a lot of people were maybe saying, were questioning me getting the job. A lot of people told me, "Are you sure you want to take it?" Because of maybe opinion. And I think when sometimes people can be very quick to form opinions straight away for whatever reason. And being a young English manager with 1 year at Derby, some of that I understood. But at the same time, I think sometimes we just have to judge people on face value, like we do judge any manager. It doesn't matter where you're from. I think all managers should be judged the same. I was pretty proud of what we managed to achieve last season in coming in the top 4. In fact, I felt we could have actually done even better than that for different reasons, but I was happy with that. So, but I can't get swung on opinion, because if you do that managing a Premier League team, if you look at opinion and read and listen to all of them, then it'll affect you every day. So I just have to do the job as well as I can, and hopefully the opinions will speak for themselves.
Tony Banks.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Tony.
I was just looking back at you had a really good record in the group stage on the road last year. That great win at Ajax, good draw at Valencia, good result at Lille as well. And you need to harness that again this year, don't you, in terms of performances on the road?
Yeah, we definitely do. It was a very tough group for us last year, Tony, because of, well, it was a tough group. And because we lost the first match against Valencia at home, we gave ourselves a really difficult task. And so we had to go and get those results, which I like, because you saw that in our performances, the edge in our game, particularly at Ajax, which was a really tough place to go. So it's very important that we keep that edge. People will look at this group and maybe consider coming to Russia against a team that is their first time in the Champions League, etc. I think that it should be a comfortable game for us. We have to have edge in our game. Tomorrow we have to have edge wherever we travel in this group to try and make sure we get through it.
Okay, we now have a Russian journalist, please, Archon.
С чем связана задержка вашего прибытия на стадион? И второй вопрос, что вы знали о команде Краснодара до того, как она оказалась с вами в одной группе, и насколько вы сегодня осведомлены о своем сопернике? Спасибо.
You were late a little bit. Can you tell us why you were late for the press conference? And the second question is, how much did you know about Krasnodar FC before you got into the same group? And how well do you know your opponents now?
Yeah, well, I apologise for being late. Unfortunately, it was just purely down to the travel. We've travelled today. It was quite a long flight for us, and the journey to our hotel, and then the journey here to the stadium. So we always normally try and keep time as well as we can. In terms of Krasnodar as a team, I didn't have a fantastic knowledge of them. I was aware of them, but in terms of the individuals, to study them. But as soon as we have been drawn against them, myself and my staff have been watching their games. We're very aware of them as a team, the individual talents, the collective talent of the team. And also aware that they're a team that are new into the Champions League, which means they will have absolute motivation to play against a Premier League team to try and get a result. So we're very focused on the game.
Okay, we do 2 more and then we'll finish. Nick Purewall, please.
Hi Frank, thanks for your time as always.
Hi.
When you were saying to Matt, he's asking you if you think you'd judge differently, and you said that some people asked you if you were sure that you wanted to take the job. I'm sure you were then. Are you still, in the time you've had in the job, are you still pleased that you did take it and that it was the right decision? And how do you think you're finding it overall?
Yeah, I'm certainly very pleased I took it. I'm very proud to manage this club every day. And when I say a lot of people were wary of it, I think it was more around circumstances that were maybe trying to just see it from the outside and feel what opinion may be, or these things. I just saw football and I saw a club that I love. So there was never a doubt in my mind, albeit I always try and listen to good advice from people around me. In terms of do I love it, yes. I loved last season. I loved the challenges that it brought with the transfer ban, with the COVID times, of course, difficult times for everybody on every level, but in terms of a challenge as a coach, and that we managed to finish in the top 4, I think was something that I was certainly proud of from the work of the whole group, not just myself, the staff, the players and everybody. And now we want to move on to further levels, and we know there are different challenges, and I was very aware of those challenges that will come early in the season without a pre-season with some new players, and I love that challenge every day. So the answer is yes, I made the right decision. Yes, I feel I made the right decision every day, and I love it.
Last question, James Gearbrandt.
Hi Frank. Obviously the last 2 games have finished 0-0. and obviously have been kind of somewhat different from some of the previous games this season. Has that been a conscious decision by you as the manager to kind of adjust the balance of the team a bit and maybe throttle back slightly on the attack in order to lay a little bit more priority on defensive solidity?
No, I think with the last two games, we've played against high-level opponents. Seville and Manchester United, in their own ways, offer a lot of threats. And going into a Champions League game with Seville, you have to respect what they can do. They've just won the Europa League last year, took Bayern to extra time in the Super Cup, and are a very talented team. So I wanted to get both sides of our game right. I think we've got a lot of our defensive game right on the day. I didn't like every bit of it because we are still improving, because now we're training in real time. These games we can't train in between too much because it's too much. There's too much physical, too many physical demands on the players of games. So we have to try and organise the team. I think we did it well in those two games. On the defensive side, the balance of us going forward wasn't as great as I would want it to be, but it's. And I said it after the game, the least of my worries in the big picture, because I know we have a lot of talent in this team. So getting both of our games is something that we're working on every day, both sides of our game. And I'm happy where we are, but we want more, and that will take work.
What's the difference been in the last couple of games? Obviously, you've had issues at the back, and now you've kept 2 clean sheets. What's the difference been?
Well, I mean, everyone's been training hard. I think we also play against great opponents too, but defensively we did a great job. I think in the last 2 games we've been doing great. I think the communication has been better too. Also, I think the lads made an unbelievable effort to keep the clean sheet. I think everyone we're all going the same way, and we know each other better now. I think because there's a lot of new players that came in with the players that being last year. So the mix has to come like quicker, but we don't have time to prepare a lot because of the short time of training, because there's many games coming, but we will get there soon hopefully, and we just need to enjoy ourselves.
And how big an influence has Thiago Silva been for you personally and as a leader at the back?
He brings his experience. We know that he's been winning trophies, a lot of trophies, and as soon as he came in, he was already in the group. He was already trying to talk to players, talk to people, and which is great for us. We know that he brings calm and all of his experience, and we can learn a lot from him.
Simon Johnson, please.
Okay, just following on from that, you've proven that you can defend with Thiago Silva in the team. Do you as a squad now have to prove you can defend without him now that he's not on the trip?
I mean, we got quality everywhere. Of course, Thiago Silva is here and he's been doing good since he came. But also before, when he wasn't here, we've been doing good too. And I mean, there's nothing to prove. Only just one we came in to win the game, and we as a team. So there's nothing to prove to us.
Matt Law, please.
Hi, Kurt. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I was just wondering whether the team, the squad and the manager did anything for your birthday today. I know you've been travelling, but did you get a cake or any presents or anything?
Not yet, because during half time we'll be travelling. We just arrived, so not yet.
Oh, you should hand in a transfer request like Yaya Toure did when no one did anything for his birthday at Manchester City. I'm joking. More seriously, I mean, do you now feel... we always still think of you as kind of, I suppose, a younger member of the Chelsea squad from previously, but now do you feel one of the more senior players, and do you feel that you're taking on more of a senior role in this team at the moment?
Especially here with my age, I see the young lads come in. Naturally, yes, so I try to speak to the younger lads. But, you know, in this group, we're lucky because everyone understands each other, and I think we don't put the age ahead of everything. Everyone understands each other, everyone talks to each other, so which is very great, and that will bring us very far.
Okay, we'll have Jim Conlon, please. Jim Conlon, unmute yourself, please.
Just in terms of you playing FC Krasnodar, if ever there was a good time to play them, it would be now. They're gripped in a bit of an injury crisis. 5 or 6 of their regular starters out. They lost last weekend to Spartak Moscow 3-1. So it's a good time to be playing Krasnodar with 3 or 4 of their main key players, Ari, Remy Cabelia, Wanderson, all unavailable.
There's no right time to play a football game. I think every time is the right time. I think we just got to be focused on us. I didn't know about the players injured and everything. We don't have time to watch them, to see them. So I think we got to talk about them after training and tomorrow before the game. But we just came in to focus on ourselves. Tomorrow's going to be Champions League, so it doesn't matter on the pitch. It's going to be very tough anyway. So we just prepare ourselves and be ready to do a great match.
Michael Bridge, please.
Thanks very much. Kurt, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Hearing a lot of managers, there's a lot of fixtures in a quick space of time. What is it like for the players? Because obviously you played Champions League last week, Champions League this week. What is it like for you? Are you enjoying it, or is it very tough for everyone?
No, we're enjoying playing football. We're doing what we love, so everyone enjoys it. But obviously, physically, it's a bit difficult because there's so many games and traveling and hotels. But that's the job. That's what we're here for, to play football, to enjoy. So we don't want to think too much about it. We just enjoy the games, and that can be good for everyone because there's so many games and everyone can play.
Rob Moore, please.
Following on from Matt's question, what would be the perfect birthday for you tomorrow night?
First,
do you often play on your birthday in the past? Have you often played matches?
No, before, no. That will be the first time, I think. Just a clean sheet and a win. That would be perfect. That would be the best gift I would have.
Tony Banks, please. Tony Banks. Unmute yourself, Tony. No. Okay. We'll try Jerry Cox, please. Jerry Cox.
Hi, Kurt. You talked about communication at the back. Are you guys communicating in English or French? Because I know Thiago is still learning English, but I just wonder if you communicate with Edu and Thiago in French as well as English.
At the minute, we try to talk we're talking French because, like you said, Thiago is still learning. But with the other guys, we talk English, and Edu understands very well English, and he can speak English too. But when I talk to Thiago or Edu talks to me, yeah, naturally he speaks French.
Matthew Nash, be the last question, please.
Hi, Kurt. Just wondering what it was like. You obviously got 2 clean sheets in a row. Does it feel like you've turned the corner defensively?
We haven't. I don't think we can talk about turning the corner. Just we're doing our job. We try and do the best as we can every game. And obviously, the last 2 games we did good. We had clean sheet. But we just only made that for 2 games. So we just want to keep doing that, and this comes with hard work, and we have to keep working to get it.
Individually as well as collectively at the back today, Thiago Silva, I thought your captain was absolutely brilliant. Zouma again. You've had Sevilla and then today. You feel that balance is now coming between attack and defence?
Well, I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but when you look at the week, two good performances, individual performances, collective performances, things coming into our box, whether it be set pieces or people dribbling in our box and people staying on their feet and defending it well. It was some really good stuff if you appreciate defending, and we certainly do. And then Mendy makes a good save. You come to here and you know players like Rashford can always nick a yard, can always get a shot away, and then you rely on your goalkeeper as well. So yeah, lots of good individuals. We must keep working on that. We know that that's something we strive for a lot last season, and when you see people playing as they are at the minute, it makes you happy.
Welcome back to Matchday Live. Chelsea are in Russia on Matchday 2 of the UEFA Champions League, knowing that a win will put them top, at least for a few hours, until the other group game of Sevilla and Rennes kicks off at 8 o'clock tonight. Anyway, this is the team that Frank Lampard has selected for the test of Krasnodar tonight. Mendy in goal, captain Cesar Azpilicueta. Antonio Rudiger makes his first start of the season for Chelsea alongside Kurt Zouma. Ben Chilwell making up the back four. Jorginho, Mateo Kovacic, Hakim Ziyech, Kai Havertz, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and Timo Werner. Let's go straight into our one to watch then, which is Callum Hudson-Odoi for tonight. No surprise really, Pat, because he's someone that we've had an eye on for a while. We've seen the best of at times, and we do forget at times. He's only 19 years of age.
Yeah, and there's kind of technical things about his game are brilliant. I mean, I would have died for having pace like that. I mean, wow, his pace is absolutely stunning, right? So that's a great thing. The playing skills, well, I've got an eye for a goal, so he's got the whole package. But it sometimes comes together and sometimes doesn't. Lots of people say, yeah, that's wingers for you. But it's not just that. It's the confidence needs to be built up again. And what I want to say, if I was standing beside him on that touchline, I'd be saying, look, it doesn't matter if you lose it. It doesn't matter. Just go at him. It's just what Dan was saying earlier on there. Just get the ball, go at him, ask him a question. Go inside, go outside, keep on asking him a question. Because you won't beat him every time. You won't beat the guys every time. But you'll beat them often enough. Now, all it needs is you to get to that byline 2 or 3 times. Watch Raheem Sterling doing it. He's unbelievable at doing it. Watch people like De Bruyne doing it. They're brilliant at it. He's got all the capabilities to do that. And if he does that, he'll have a place in this team. He will have a place in this team. That's how good he can be.
Abby, he's one of those as well because he's one of our own. He's come through the academy. He's a Chelsea boy through and through. When you see him at any point, you get excited. But he's only played 3 times this season. You think of the game against West Brom when he comes on at half-time and changes it. He was superb. He played in that 4-0 win against Palace as well. Like he's played well when he's had his opportunity. He's had his opportunity this season. I suppose this is just another example, another chance for him to go, no, I should be starting week in, week out.
Yeah, as you say, I always feel like a sense of sort of pride when he comes on, I guess, because he is one of our own. Like, I'm always rooting for him. And he is a brilliant creative player that can really change the game, especially with that pace and with that eye for a goal. So I hope that we get to see the very best of him tonight. So like you say, maybe he'll be in the starting lineup some more.
Dan, do you think he's a little bit of a victim of his own success? Because you think when he burst onto the scene in that 18-19 season under Maurizio Sarri, he played pretty much every Europa League game and tore it up. I think he had like sort of 13, 14 goal contributions in less than 30 games. He was playing for England before he'd made a Premier League start for Chelsea. So then all of a sudden people are like 17, ripping it up. They expect that every game from him, but you go, he's still 19. He's had a bad injury that kept him out for a while. He's doing absolutely fine.
100%. Definitely a victim of his own success. It happens with players that come with some kind of high profile. And it's weird because he's come through the ranks and he's developed that high profile, whereas a lot of people get it via a big transfer fee or something like that. Every time he plays at under 23 level, it is quickly discovered he is too good for that level. And then it's just about making it happen up at first team level and being able to put some performances together, 4 or 5 games where you're just at the races every game. It's difficult. And then when you look, left and right, you've got Ziyech, you've got Pulisic, you've got so many players that are your competition, that are a few years your senior. So it's very easy, especially in this Chelsea team now, it's very easy to lose your spot that you had that seemed comfortable a couple of weeks ago. It can go missing. So hopefully tonight he takes someone's spot and really decides, I am taking this game by the scruff of my neck and I'm going to put this team on my back.
Joe, can I have a quick word just before you go off that? Just one word. Keep an eye on Chilwell alongside Callum Hudson-Odoi. Chilwell will always fly past you. He will never stop going. And we know Callum likes coming off the left, shooting in with his right foot, but he can also see that pass. If they two develop a relationship, that could be as important as anything for Callum's future at this club, and they're well capable of doing it.
Well, obviously, he's, like you said there, Pat, he's got players running up beyond him, wide of him, inside him. He's got Kai Havertz tonight, and I know that you've been having a little look at our young German and his goal-scoring potential, so check this out.
I've watched Kai Havertz quite a lot over the last couple of years, and one thing he knows more than anything else is where to go. Have a look at him, bottom of the picture here. Get into the danger area. If the ball's played in there in front of him, he gets in and goal. But he keeps on going there. Look at him, naturally just going towards the goal. Now, if you keep on doing that often enough, eventually the ball will fall to you. Once again, bottom of the picture here, I'm going to go where if the ball lands at me, I'll score a goal. There it goes, just above his head. Now, the ball didn't fall from Manchester United, but he always was there. Once again, exactly the right place there. Nearly gets on the end of it. Now, if you keep on doing that often enough, you will get plenty of goals, and a lot of them will be tap-ins. Once again, look where he is there, right in that 6-yard line area. Now, it didn't fall from against Manchester United, but look what happens when it does fall from. Just glide in, go into the area, and it's almost a tap-in. He certainly makes it look that way. And against Southampton, exactly the same thing. Not taking part in the play, just making sure that you arrive where you should do. He's a natural. He has scored many goals like this, and he will score many, many more. He is a phenomenon at arriving in the box.
Like Pat was saying in that piece of analysis, Dan, Kai is going to be expected to contribute. And when he's getting in those positions time and time again, he's already got 4 this season, and we're only in the second month of the season. So the goals are going to come from him, aren't they?
Yeah, and the ones he's not scoring, he'll be making just as many of them. I feel like that 10 is such a specific position, and I feel like he is a born number 10. Physical as well. I thought he'd have problems coming into the Premier League. He seems to have sorted those out already. You know, he looks strong, robust, willing to drive. Now it's just about things kind of coming off for you, but he has literally got the world at his feet, like all the talent in the world.
Abby, like Dan was saying there, not just physically, but mentally, it takes time to adjust. You know, we do forget that footballers have got a life outside of the pitch. You know, he's only 21. He's coming to a new city. It's a very strange world to be in at the moment anyway. It's not like you can go out and socialise and sort of really get to know the city. So it's probably tougher off the pitch than we give him credit for. But at 21, he's showing a huge amount of maturity already to have bed in as well as he has.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, moving to a new city, also a lot of pressure just because it was, you know, a lot of money that he came for. He's kind of got all that on his shoulders, but he seems sure of himself and it's looking like he's going to prove himself. And I was reading an article about him today, actually, when he played for Leverkusen. He actually didn't start scoring goals till kind of later in the season, quite traditionally when he played for them. So in some ways, he's probably he's definitely not at his best yet. And when he realises that, oh my gosh, are we in for a treat? You know, he's a generational talent. I can't wait till his full potential is realised at Chelsea. Like, it's going to be a joy for us to watch, isn't it?
It really is. In fact, it brings us on nicely to our hot topic 3 for tonight, which is the attack-defence balance. And Pat, that's obviously very important. We've seen that balance start to shift, I suppose, the way that Frank would have liked it if you'd have asked him after a couple of 3-3 draws in terms of back-to-back clean sheets. But Kai Havertz is going to be key to finding that balance because, you know, he is expected to contribute in terms of press and in terms of scoring goals and kind of, I suppose, his stature and how tall he is and his aerial ability will mean that he will be required to contribute in a number of ways.
Yeah, he'll be required, but so will they all. Remember the Southampton game? Kai got caught in the ball, we lost the goal. Ziyech actually caught in the ball once as well, and we lost the goal. So it's not just about, you know, defending, you know, throwing in tackles and getting in front of people. There's a lot of other things on top of it. Don't lose the ball in really important areas. Take chances in the last third. Take chances up there. That's absolutely fine. But you need to make sure that you don't take that many risks when your whole midfield's gone beyond you and you're on the ball. Simple things like that. Stuff that maybe wasn't that big a deal in certain other leagues. But the way the Premier League is, and particularly when you get to the further regions of the Champions League as well, you just don't get away with it. You will get done if you get caught in those sort of areas. So, yeah, the kind of mix between the defence and attack. And it's one of the worst things in football. See, if the defenders are blaming the attackers and the attackers are blaming the defenders, you got a problem. You got a massive problem, man. What you have to do is make sure everyone feels like a team and a unit and a group together. And that's exactly what Frank wanted to do. And maybe one player more than anyone else who helps that, is Cesar Azpilicueta, because he is almost the glue between the two. He's not playing in midfield, but he's up there, he's getting close to people, he's talking to people, and he's respected by everyone else. So it's defence and forwards, but in actual fact, it's both together.
Dan, I'm going to ask you a question which is a ridiculously difficult one, and I feel like if you answer it in the way that is insightful, I should give you some sort of coaching badge. But how does Frank find that balance? Because like Pat said, it requires, I suppose, people to step up. But is it a system? Is it a way of playing? Is it personnel? What do you think it is?
I think it's a mixture, but I think more than anything, I suppose it's synergy. You know, playing with the same players week in, week out, all of a sudden you almost have a bit of a sixth sense as to where you think people are going to be and when you think people are going to play the ball rather than take an extra touch. And these things make that transitional stage of games, they make all the difference. You know, if you get caught in possession, you're in big trouble. The Premier League, it will punish you really, really fast. So for me, it is just about relationships. It takes a bit of time, but you know, the defense starts from the attack, you know, the press, and then there's the second phase. And by the time the ball actually makes its way all the way to the defense, it's probably been defended against, you know, 3 or 4 phases of play. So it's so complicated now. I remember, you know, 20 years ago, it's just the defenders defend and the attackers, you go and score the goals. It wasn't that complicated. And now it is just systems and movement, and just so much stuff goes into it. It's scary.
I'll make sure that grey sweatshirt and the cargo trousers sent your way, Dan, because that was phenomenal, lad. Phenomenal, good work. I tell you, if there's anyone watching, sign him up. I'll take a little agent's fee, but sign him up. Good work, Abby. But that's Dan. Dan made a great point right at the start of that. I've written about 5 or 6 things down because I think that might come back. He might test me at the end, but. Right at the start of it, he mentioned about the synergy and about players playing together. And, you know, we do forget that. Some of these players have probably only met each other 6 weeks ago, and we're expecting, as soon as they go on a pitch, to go, no, make it work. It's going to take time, isn't it, to find that balance?
Yeah, and there's like language barriers. Like you say, people moving to a different city, they haven't played a lot together. So there's still a lot of work to be done to get to that sixth sense. But they will get there. And I think that's what we need to remember as fans a lot of the time. There's been some really exciting moments already this season. But it's early days and there's still so much more to come.
Definitely. Well, I tell you what, this is a question that I've always wondered. Have you ever thought about what managers speak about in the post-match drink? Does that even still happen? Well, the boss has been given his verdict this week in Ask Frank.
Socialising with other managers. I've seen you a couple of times at full time say what looks like, I want to see you afterwards for a drink. Is that still a thing? Does that still happen in football?
COVID has put an end to the socialising at the moment. But last year, pre-COVID, then I was always open to socialise. So my door would always be open for an opposite manager to come in. Some managers do. I think culturally, some managers don't, and it's not a slant or whatever. It's just the way it is. And then you have the feeling if some managers are on the back end of a bad result, as I may be myself, you might not want to. So. It can happen, but not always.
Because it's a more pressurised game now. It's a sort of bigger business, bigger spotlight. You might have had like really contentious VAR calls. I guess that might. I'm just thinking back to maybe when Harry and your dad, at West Ham. I should think they probably had lock-ins, didn't they? Afterwards,
they would have done, but they also probably spoke to one journo from the local rag for like an hour after the game or whenever, and for 5 minutes, and that was it. We spend a lot of time doing media after games. So there are quite a lot of things that go on which sometimes actually make your paths not cross after. So there are a lot more responsibilities for managers. So it's changed it, but my door is always open, and hopefully even after games that are a bit contentious, because it's a long season, things happen in game, and I think that respect of maybe having a drink or something together is a good thing.
Is it difficult, do you think, for top flight managers to be friends if you don't have, a previous, working relationship like John or whatever? But
I think it probably is. I think the job consumes you. It has to, and it should do, especially at the top level, because you're striving for tiny details to make your team better and get one over on the opposition. So you spend your week doing that, and the game is a culmination of the work that you've done. So it can be, quite exhausting at the back end of a game, because that's what you've worked towards. So you understand that that's how their jobs are. In fact, it's probably hard for me to keep friendships with some of my friends that I've been friends with for a lot of years, because, you work hard, and you think football a lot, and it becomes your life. So counting other managers as your friends, if you haven't worked alongside them before, is probably pretty difficult, I suppose.
Any awkward moments? What's in your fridge? Do you have to keep something in case this bloke comes?
I've tried to have those bases covered. Yeah, the fridge broke down for a few games last year, so a nice warm beer for my opposite manager didn't go down too well. So no, but I'm ready for all events. As I say, different cultures come in. Some people don't want a beer, want a water, a Coke or whatever. But it's more as I say, the moment. And sometimes it's nice to finish a game having gone against each other and then talk about slightly different things. I always hold Roy Hodgson really dearly with that one, because he comes in with Ray Lewis and they're absolute gentlemen, and you end up talking about quite a few things. So it was that's always a nice balance, I think.
Pat, did that tradition happen where managers got together? Obviously, at the moment we can't because of the restrictions and doing the right thing, of course. But when you were playing, was that a common thing to see managers have a drink and a chat after the game?
Always, absolutely always. In fact, they'd be offended if the manager didn't go in, and sometimes it was two guys that had been arguing all day long. And particularly for a couple of Scotsmen, let's be honest about it. There was a few of them at the time. Sometimes Dalglish would have to go in and talk to Alex Ferguson, and they basically thought if they come out without winning with a black eye, you'd be surprised. But generally, it was a way to keep things sensible at the end. But the amount of managers that said the same thing to me afterwards, they said, we have to say hi, we have to chat for a certain amount of time, and most of the time, it's the last thing in the world we want to do. It's the last thing, but they kind of have to do it because it was this tradition that they had to do it.
I like that. I like that level of respect. Pat, mate, I'm going to give you the respect you deserve and go and get yourself ready for commentary. So I'm going to release you now. Thank you very much, mate. We'll catch up with you at half-time. While Pat gets ready, let's check out the Chelsea 11 for tonight then. Away at Krasnodar in the Champions League. Edouard Mendy in goal for Chelsea tonight. Captain Cesar Azpilicueta, Kurt Zouma, Antonio Rudiger and Ben Chilwell. Jorginho, Mateo Kovacic, Hakim Ziyech, Kai Havertz, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Timo Werner. Busy bench for Chelsea tonight. Willy Caballero, got Ziga, James, Tamori, Christensen, Emerson, Kanté, Mount, Pulisic, Giroud and Abraham. Obviously 5 substitutes allowed tonight as well with the Champions League rules. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, the big thing for us, Dan, is going to be getting an away win on the books, getting that sorted, getting that ready. So it's not by any means necessary tonight, but the performance is important, but also just getting off the mark, getting those 3 points, because that really does set the standard for the other teams that play later.
Yeah, 3 points is the most important thing. If we can look good doing it and we can get some goals, then that's even better, because we know what goal difference can do in this tournament. So yeah, I would take a 1-0. I would love a 3-0, but I would take the 1-0 and a good performance.
Abby, as well, we've just seen some pictures on Twitter about some Chelsea fans that are in the ground this evening. Obviously, they're all local because of the restrictions and everything like that. But it sounds strange to say, but it's almost a new experience for the players. They're going to have to get used to fans being back in the ground, aren't they?
Yeah, you're like, what's all this noise? What are all these people chanting all this stuff? No, you love to see it, and I think you can't underestimate how much the spirit of a crowd just totally drives the team. So yeah, hopefully that crowd is going to get us a few goals tonight? Maybe more. I'm feeling really good now. I felt more confident than when we started,
I'm loving it. I'll tell you, that is the perfect note to go into the game for them. That is all from us. We'll be back at half-time to discuss how the Blues are getting on. Up next is live commentary of Krasnodar versus Chelsea in the Champions League, courtesy of Matt Davies-Adams and Pat Nevin.